Hello, I'm Kat and welcome to my channel, and today we're going to take a tour of my dressing room. So if you've been watching my recent videos, you might be under the impression that I'm very into clothes and take, great pride in my appearance. I mean, after all, I've been spending a lot of time sort of sorting clothes and mending clothes, buying second-hand clothes, and making some new clothes as well. But let me tell you, this is a very new behaviour, and it's a behaviour I'd like to keep. I'm making a lot more effort with my look in the last 3 or 4 months, but I kind of worry that I might at some point backslide into my old habit of, just wearing like t-shirts and cut-offs every day. So I think for me, a big part of maintaining the habit of dressing well, or at least dressing better than I was before, is making getting dressed a much more enjoyable process. Hence the dressing room tour. So if you asked me, like, what's the fanciest thing in your life, I feel like I'd have to say that having a dressing room is super fancy. It's not really something we were looking for in a house when we were buying, but now I have one. I don't know if I could do without it. Um, Especially at the moment when my husband and I get up at very different times, so having a separate room to get ready in where I can turn on the light and just take my time and not creep around and not disturb him is really great. So making it into a nice room really helps make it an enjoyable rather than an onerous task in picking out what I want to wear in a day and putting myself together nicely. I wish I had a before picture to show you what this room used to look like when we first moved in, but I don't. So I'm gonna like paint a picture with my words. So the walls were done up in the same like 30-year-old floral wallpaper as the bedroom, and the background behind the flower pattern had probably been like a really nice happy buttercup yellow when it started, and I think it was still that colour behind the radiators when we took it off. But everywhere that had been exposed to light since the 80s was just faded to this like grubby cream. Yeah. The lighting was one of those sort of fluorescent, is it called track lights? The fluorescent tubes with like the squared off long plastic cover that Gen Xers and millennials of my age will remember from like every classroom ever. I mean, maybe classrooms still look like that. I don't know. Yeah. Oh, the drawer handles. The drawer handles were kind of a dangly brass thing that looked like beefed up filigree earrings. Yeah. So it was somewhat dated. Yeah, so we actually didn't do a big old overhaul in this room. We left all of the built-in stuff as it was, but we painted the walls white. We changed the lighting to these bulbs here, which I think are daylight bulbs. Yeah, changed the doorknobs to steel ones, and just overall made it just a bit more neutral, a nice neutral backdrop for clothes and thinking about our clothes, and a much airier, open feeling room, which was, important as it is kind of like a pretty small room under the eaves down here. So other than the built-in sections, the only thing left from when we first moved in is this set of very, very broken blinds here. They're pretty nasty. I don't know if you can see, but they look quite sort of yellow and aged. They dangle, they get in the way of the mountain of clothes that builds up here. This is sort of the clean laundry staging area. We just pile it on here out of the laundry basket and then sometimes remember to put it away. So actually remembering to put the clean laundry away is another part of sort of my system for making this an enjoyable room to be in. I would have ripped the blinds out sooner, but when it's dark outside, like it is in the mornings at this time of year, And I have the light on in here, and I'm getting dressed out of the shower. There's a very real danger of me flashing my naked top half to my neighbours, or even in fact to people just walking down the street. So the solution that I've come up with is that we're going to cover the panes of this window with some vinyl static cling wrap thing in a frosted tone. So it's going to let the light through, but it's going to spare my neighbours the rather distressing sight of me. Um, and yeah, it's also because it's going to be on the panes rather than sort of hanging inside the room. It's maybe going to give us a little bit more space and not intrude onto this area here. Anyway, back in a jiff. So I feel like it's only right at this juncture to have a brief pause and do a commercial break for my husband's YouTube channel. You can find him at Make a Geek. And the reason for that is that whilst I was taking down the blind, I just found it hilarious that what I was using for it was this multi-tool that I got out of my work bag, rather than one of the millions of other tools, much more well suited for the job, that my husband has down in his garage, because he is a tool guy, as can be told from his channel name. He's a maker, he's a geek. Yeah, do check him out. But trusty multi-tool, fewer flights of stairs between me and it. Pretty cool. Very cheap as well, £7. Job's a good one. And I'm back, and the static cling has been applied inexpertly, but it doesn't look like it's coming off anytime soon, so that's great. I walked in this morning and it was still attached, and I consider that a DIY win for my level of skills. And well, it does look a bit naked on the window around here. Yeah, I really do like how much light is let in over the top, how I can walk in here and still look out on the wonderful morning view, but also be shielded from view as well. On with the tour. Right, to give context, you come in from the bedroom, and this is pretty much the shape of the whole situation. And it's great that it's very sectional. You know, it allows me to keep my stuff separate from Dan's. We've both got our individual spaces. He's got half those drawers, I've got half those drawers. He's got most of the tall wardrobe and drawers beneath it, but I've got this one section of tall wardrobe here. Right, so let's quickly do the drawers. I think the main lesson to take from the drawers is that I watched that Marie Kondo series on Netflix and I really took it to heart. So I went a little bit crazy with the dividers. Okay, undies in the top drawer. I don't know when I started rolling my knickers, but I do it for mine and Dan's underwear alike. I do it with my t-shirts as well. I think it's the ability to have, you know, like the little sausage roll end on, so you can see all of them at once rather than just the top one in the pile. Like, for example, with the bras, I can only see the top one in the pile. Yeah, and I feel like I don't know if this actually makes tessellation sense, but I feel like having the rolls actually makes it easier to get more stuff in. So this is the same approach, but with the t-shirts. So all the t-shirts are end on so I can see them, and all of my various brightly coloured cut-offs are there. If you watched my wardrobe rationalisation video where I talked about making two capsule wardrobes, one in these sorts of colours and another one in bright colours, this is the bright capsule wardrobe. which was pretty much my uniform for the past 2 years of the pandemic, and possibly even for quite a while before that as well. I feel like I kind of went into the whole jeans and t-shirts, cut-offs and t-shirts phase about when I stopped commuting to London for work. I work in the software industry, so the definition of smart casual has a lot more latitude in it than I think other industries do. I've been in the industry so long, I have no idea what normal is elsewhere, to tell the truth. But yeah, I'm very surprised how infrequently I've gone into this drawer since I rationalised and fully explored and reminded myself what nice clothes I have in my more dressy, more smart, casual looking clothes. I thought I would relapse back to what I was used to very quickly, but I didn't. There we go. Next drawer is sportswear. Again, all end on, so I can see it, and some more. You can't see the divider here because it's got so much stuff stuffed in it, but it's dividers all the way through. Yes, it's all end on, so I can see it. I feel like there's a lot more aspiration than perspiration going on in these clothes, but if/when I feel the masochistic urge to exercise, I'm ready to go. Got a drawer full of it. And then at the bottom, socks and sleepwear. Right, in the long wardrobe, I've got kind of the junk hole up at the top. Oh, and there you can see our Christmas stockings. Yep, stuffed on top of the wardrobe is where they live for the rest of the year. Oof. But yeah, in the long wardrobe, I've got my fairly tall garments. So my wedding dress, dresses I wear to other people's weddings, the more nice sort of formal wear here that doesn't really go with the capsule colours. 50 million black hoodies, most of which provided free from my office, a sort of merch/swag. Oh, and a gilet I got from work as well. Oh, and my archery kit. There we go. Royston Heath Archers. If you're local, do join. We're a lovely club. Yeah, so that's what's in the long wardrobe. So now this is where the capsule wardrobe lives. I won't pull it out and do a full fashion parade this video. Yeah, that video is coming, but I kind of need to like psych myself up for it. The thought of like figuring out the best outfit combos to showcase and then doing all the getting changed and filming myself parading up and down in it while feeling like 150 million% self-conscious. Even thinking about that's a little exhausting, but it is coming. It is coming, I promise. Anyway, the overview is from right to left is we've got dresses, skirts, trousers and leggings, etc. Sort of lightweight base layer tops, middle layer kind of tops, and then the sort of top layer tops and jackets here. And then I've got some more base layers here in this organizer, separated by sleeveless, short sleeves, long sleeves. So one of the big signals that I gave to myself that I was serious about, being more thoughtful and sort of dedicated to my clothes was my decision to buy myself new hangers. So previously it was hanger anarchy in here. It was just like whatever old hanger I had left over from when I was a kid or from which I got with the garment. But I decided instead what I would do is I would buy myself a bunch of these nice wooden matching hangers that also kind of match the wood of the wardrobe. I think I've got a bunch of the sort of more like the nipper hangers for skirts, but otherwise everything's on this. Now you may have spotted this little like Beastie Boy medallion here. Yeah, what's going on with that? So that is a chunk of cedar wood, and that's like cedar, not American cedar, which I think American cedar is actually juniper. Whichever way, it's a wood which smells nice and dissuades moths from getting in my clothes. And I did have them all sort of dropped over the hook like that as it was intended, but it meant that I couldn't actually get as many hangers in very easily. So I went through with some wool and made them all little necklaces there, and they all got turned into medallions. So yeah, I also have a bunch of the cedar discs just loose in my drawers as well, so that the cedar smell is consistent throughout all my clothing. And I'd almost forgotten, but then we've also got my little belt hooks here behind the door. So I've got some scarves and bits, a whole load of belts, and some sarongs, possibly more belts than I know what to do with, but I know some of them don't fit me and are being kept against the day I perhaps lose some weight. And then some of these thinner belts that possibly came with dresses and were removed because I really don't like thin belts. I think they were fashionable for a hot minute, like 7 years ago. I don't know. So all these thin belts are earmarked for cat riling usage. And as you can see, this one has almost finished the end of its life of service. Because, yeah, my cat has exactly 2 modes when it comes to playing, and those modes are ignore the toy or destroy the toy. Yeah, and last but not least, I've got a little dressing table area over here. I did get one of those light up mirrors to use as my makeup mirror, but honestly, what ends up happening is that I'll start sort of stage stuff here and then wander back and forth from the big mirror and come up to the big mirror and do my makeup in that, and then head back to get more stuff, which, you know, I like to. Like, this is the closest thing I have in my life to a standing desk is a standing vanity desk. Otherwise, I am sat down all day, so it's the little wins. And there we go. I really like how this room has gone from sort of a walk-in storage area, laundry staging room, to a room that I really enjoy spending time in as part of a nice morning ritual of getting dressed up, getting made up, and just getting ready to start my day right. So thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, do the other things, but most of all, make sure you have a smashing day.